Hello, Poggers, and welcome back to the Pog State. I'm Atlus. I am joined by Chronicler, Orcs, and Dgon for a very special episode. You might be saying it's a little bit late, and that is because you are correct. We are going to get into the predictions and who won at the end of the regular season, and who, unfortunately, will be decorated in Comic Sans. I have 4 envelopes, and every name is in them. I know there's 4 people here, so it makes sense. I kind of thought that maybe there'd just be each of us, and then we'd work out where everyone else fits, but no. There are enough ties to make it only 4 people, like it has been every single year. It is so incredibly cool.
So everyone that loses needs to do a thing, right? During playoffs. That's what usually happens.
You can make a bet, yeah. I think we've
No.
made bets before.
No, I think it is just if you get Comic Sans, you also need to we had someone did a fake mustache. We've done stuff.
Didn't we tell? Didn't Wolf
You had to work
wear
a wolf
like a
word in.
clown wig
Yeah.
or something
Yeah,
like that?
That did happen as well. That's what I'm saying. We should have a thing.
There is an issue because no one has agreed to anything prior to this.
I think we can make
Has
them
never held us
we
back
can make
before.
them agree. We can make them agree on their behalf. I think I'm ready to commit.
I'm
on
sure one of
their
us
behalf.
will be in the comics. I actually genuinely don't know who. What? Because I guess me and Dgon might be both. In that
Yeah.
case, we'll just we'll deal with it. And then if
I'm not
one wants
entirely
to
sure.
be left out, that's fine.
I actually have Brendan's right of attorney. He doesn't
Oh,
know
okay.
about this, but I will agree on his
Oh.
behalf.
How did you get it?
You're a lawyer
That's-
and a judge,
That's
Judge
a,
Harrison?
That's a complicated thing that
That's
I don't
actually
think we have
common.
time to get into. But rest
Do you call
assured-
yourself a joyer?
Yes.
Well, guys,
or a lud.
Today brought a lot of
an
joy.
enjoyer, but you're just a joyer.
Yes.
guys, it's not that weird for lawyers or prosecutors to become judges later on. That's
No, but not at the same time.
well, no, you can't be both at the same
That's
time.
what I'm saying. He's
Okay.
both
Man,
at the same time.
I was so excited about predictions. Now I'm sad because Cronny is already talking about his future profession of being a lawyer.
I will not be. Oh my god!
he's
Can
gonna
you
be a judge.
imagine? I
He's
don't think
skipping.
I'd be a very good lawyer, except when it's for challenger players. Then I lock in.
Honestly,
Oh.
I think of all of us, even though you have a law degree, clearly the person who'd be the best lawyer is Max because the case he has for Beryl, phenomenal. He is defending this man on a daily basis.
I'd
That's
actually-
true, and it is kind of hard mode with a lot
I'd
of the way he
actually
plays.
flip it around, and I'd argue that I don't even Max has a lot of a case, but his consistent PR work is the only reason why Beryl isn't on a lot lower on people's lists that have watched games.
I mean, from what I saw on the lists that we're going to go through later in this episode, Beryl isn't on the lists at all.
Exactly.
But first, it is time for the Prediction Awards. Drum roll!
I'm heckin' excited.
We're going to start with number 1 because this isn't about
No,
who
I
comes
get
first.
it. No one cares.
It's all about who gets those Comic Sans.
Get them out.
So first, let us congratulate the winner of predictions.
Is it one?
And
Just
see,
one?
no. There's going to be multiple names, I believe, on most of these pieces of paper. I'm going to pull it out now, and it is. Oh my! What? How did this happen? It's Atlus, Chronicler, Wolf, Dgon, and Yundo.
Get over here.
Oh, all right. Sorry. We didn't lose. Wow. How you feeling, Dan? Left in? Okay. All right. The kings of... We will be here.
The king.
The kings of predicting
Are we gonna bring
things.
this back the whole episode?
It's actually... It is very Wait.
I never get to tilt oaks.
All right, let's have a look. Okay. Second place.
You're gonna look into it like with X-ray vision.
Do you want to try Superman? No,
I'm okay.
What are we doing? Okay. Oh. Are we nervous? I'm a bit
No,
nervous. I
I'm
pulled out
fine.
a bit of a sheet of paper.
Is it hot in here, by
that-
the way? Can we get the AC on a little bit?
There's no name on this.
What? Oh.
I know.
Oh, man,
There's
what
a
a
bait and
fake out.
switch.
The
There's a
debate.
bait and switch. And it's in number 2. Like, I don't know what to expect from the rest. Okay.
There's a name on there. Maybe.
My heart's
The
pounding.
next group of people or one person to dodge the Comic Sans. Oh! Let's go!
All we do is come second!
And Ian. Congrats to Ian as
Congrats,
well.
Ian.
Let's go, Ian!
Nice.
That's what being a great editor is. Also understanding the league beautifully as well. So you guys can go over
Man,
here
the fact-
in
I
like
feel like
a less
that-
important position.
Orcs and Ian.
I feel like that 1 minute window between the first one and the second one, longest minute of my life. Just thank God.
Yeah. Well, you've done it. You've escaped.
Oh.
Wait, hang on. Wolf was on number 1. So Wolf is already safe.
Yes.
The man who has been Comic Sans
The most.
every year of his career. Is what it feels like. I don't know whether that's actually true, but I'm going to
no
go
one
with it from
cares.
now on. As once again, this one was stuck
No,
in.
no. We do Comic Sans first because by process of elimination.
yeah,
no.
Oh.
Saved by the blank sheet.
That's why we have the blank sheet.
Just saved.
It's called Atlus protection. Okay.
Because no one cares about who's third.
Yeah, that's a very good point. All right, so this one was stuck in even more.
Yeah, get a real
I
placement.
don't know why I keep taking these out. I don't need to. Okay.
So who do we have? Kion.
All the casters have been
Jisan.
called except
Brendan Valdez.
Valdez.
Brendan
Wadid.
Wadid.
Wadid was in a very
Oh,
uncomfortable position.
yes.
And he did the most insane swap
Also,
as well.
Huni, Achilles.
True. Papa Smithy.
Yes.
Yet Doa.
TV man?
Monte Cristo. TV man.
TV man?
Egypt.
Egypt. Oh.
That crossover, I was like,
I mean, LS. We haven't even said LS. yet.
Guys, lore?
Lore. True.
Kisan?
I'm sorry. I'm still thinking about Cubby. I miss him. Okay.
He's still real.
I know he's real, but he's not in my TV anymore.
I met him and I don't know.
You don't know if he's real? Or you miss him?
Carry on, Max.
All right. And this is for the Comic Sans. How many names will there be? Ah! Oh, no!
He had such a good year.
Oh, it was such a good year.
He did die, so
Oh, he really double faulted this one, didn't he? Oh, no.
That's a tennis joke.
Thanks, Dgon. Oh,
wanna
poor
make sure the
Wadid.
circles
He
are
what
covered.
didn't do so good here.
Yeah. And it's only him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the saddest part.
so then we have like
And now,
Valdez.
This is
Valdez,
gonna have so many
Kion.
names on this. You know.
yeah, it is actually Valdez, Jisan, and Kion. Now together in safety. And our king of the Comic Sans.
Oh.
It even just kind
So,
of looks
I
a
mean,
bit
I
jank, doesn't
I
it?
think that means we can have Wadid do something funny, right?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We might need to discuss it with him, unless we want to have a bit of
No.
Do we want
think
to?
so.
Okay.
Executive decision.
Does anyone have any thoughts?
You know what? He'll know if he watches this Pog State.
Oh, okay. I'm immediately
Oh.
thinking, right?
Right.
What's one of the best segments we've ever had?
we
on
did the vein.
the vein. So I think on that vein, we did cosplay, but I know Wadid's really into like anime and stuff. We make him cosplay as something a little more, maybe one of the more anime-inspired skins. You know, maybe like one of the Star Guardian skins, something like that.
God.
Star Guardian Wadid.
Star Guardian Wadid.
Which Star Guardian?
Doesn't
skin,
matter.
though?
Whichever they
doesn't
have
matter.
it. I know they have
Dgon.
them.
Urgot.
I know. I'm sure the costumes are still here.
He doesn't have enough legs.
We can
Yeah, it's
work on
fine.
that.
That's a bridge we can cross. Yeah.
I've seen him play tennis in shorts. He has a lot of leg.
Also,
Okay. Okay.
Star
I don't know
Guardian.
what that means, but I like it.
Star Guardian Wadid. Let's be all appropriate about our coworkers, everyone.
Yeah.
If he
All
wants
right.
to wear, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Absolutely
I know.
beautiful.
Actually, also knowing Wadid, he is a really good sport, so I'm sure he'll be like, hell yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll do Ezreal. Yeah.
All right. I wonder whether we can
That
actually
counts.
have, because we do have the, no, these are the votes. And we don't have the actual.
The
I mean, I think it's
results.
also it's not that interesting because we had so many of us had the same stuff.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
lot of the same stuff, but we came equal first, and I had quite different to you guys.
Didn't he?
That's true.
Didn't Wadid?
So it's kind of
Who was
interesting.
it? Wadid who did the bad swap?
Yeah, he did the
And
the
Jisan.
wacky int swap.
Didn't Jisan do a bad swap as well?
We did only swapped HLE and T1 so that he made sure that he was wrong.
Yeah, he did the was it the KT D plus flip? I
No,
think,
no,
what it
No,
was.
he
did
didn't.
HLET.
That was the normal one.
I think
from
every
first to
I think
second.
everyone did KT and D plus.
We did.
because it was like the guaranteed biggest point increase.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I meant in his predictions. He didn't think that KT and he had 2 things to fix.
Yeah.
No,
it
we
was-
all had multiple things to fix. I think that he just
I mean,
didn't go for
I think
KTDK.
me and Wolf,
Yeah.
me and Wolf had the same things to fix. We
Yeah,
just-
you did. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we all did.
It was everyone was
because
KTDK.
the 3 of us had the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Kion's there.
First place,
Mm-hmm.
you got 6 points in total.
Okay.
I won't tell you how I calculated, but you got 6 points.
Love that.
Beautiful.
Second place got 4 points.
Oh.
Okay.
Third place got 2 points, and what did got -2 points.
Minus
Minus
2
2?
point. How did he manage? You told me I can't ask how it's
No, 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 no,
calculated.
There's
no.
only 10 teams.
We are not meant to know.
That's
So-
impressive.
That's
we do
a-
not. We,
that's
do,
a
we can't
big
know.
gap,
We
though.
can't know the algorithm. That's 8 points.
Yeah.
That's
oh
crazy.
That's
my.
a-
Minus 2. I thought that 0 was the bottom, but
You know, because
I
I've
didn't
seen
know that.
you've seen like diving at the Olympics, and you know when they're like they fall off, they like fall the diving board and they just like belly flop in.
Yeah.
That's 0. So like,
that's what I was thinking.
so like, what is that?
Wait.
like,
Minus
what is the-
2. No, that would be just walking away. Or would that be just disqualified?
You
There is
missed.
no minus
You
2.
missed the pool.
Like, I guess
I mean,
not only are you injured, you
I was
also
going to say,
get
yeah,
minus
you are
2.
probably dead at that
Well,
Oh my goodness! All right, well,
Guys,
minus 2.
guys, it was a 3-0. We don't have our normal excuses. We gotta lock in.
No, it was a
locked
DK
in.
series. It was a DK series. Okay, we're allowed to
it
be
was
like this.
clean, kind of.
Well, we also know what's coming next.
it was clean like the camera on your phone, Mal. Which
This is an in joke.
Yeah.
Now you have to provide context.
Yeah, you have
to
to
the
live in our
class.
building to get it. It's
yeah,
fine.
you know, it's a
No.
bit. No, it's
But
because
you
he took
brought
a
it here.
picture the other day, and Tamara said like his phone camera's always dirty, and it looks like
It looked like Den was in heaven.
his phone camera's so dirty for some reason.
Actually, I'll send a picture to Kion because it's a picture of Dan, and then you can see.
It's just a foggy picture
It
of
just
Dan.
it's just a foggy pic. It looks like it was taken with like a Nokia, like you remember when the Nokia did like the twisty thing?
The 3310 or
Yeah.
something like that. Yep.
No. The cool
Oh, the one after is like the
N90 or
sidekick
something.
thing
That like you could twist, and then you had the little
Yeah.
keyboard.
that they all had in the OC.
The flip.
I remember that.
All right.
All right, now it is time to get into the All-Pro votes. I know this has been a lot of fun for a lot of people over the years. I felt, let's just have a bit of an overview first before we go into judgment of one another. We have a whole bunch of feedback
Let's-
for a lot of people. We're going to put people on trial to defend where their votes went. But I first want to talk about the fact that this year, like going into the thread on Reddit, I didn't actually see a lot of what was written on the Korean side,
I
but
did-
on the global side, people were just like, "Yeah, seems good."
Even on Twitter, a side which is not necessarily known for its positivity, people were generally like, "Yep,
Yeah,
checks out." And for the first team, I think that shouldn't come as a shock, right? But also for second and third.
yeah. That's
People
the thing
were
that was
just-
crazy to
People
me.
were just okay. Well, from what I saw, overwhelmingly. Whereas I obviously go into the quote tweets to be like, hey, "Let's see what's cooking."
There,
but
there was a
nothing was
little
cooking.
bit. There was a
There
little
is
bit
always-
between a second all pro and
There is
third
always, and there were
marksman.
Yeah.
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of
okay.
thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, we're not
I had
gonna,
an interesting one there. That wasn't one that was brought up. It was very interesting. Me and Bengi hanging out. I think it was Bengi. No, it wasn't Bengi because I don't think he can vote for his own player.
What?
Because I put aiming third in
Over-
my over Gumayushi.
Over Guma.
No, bro.
Wow.
That's what I did.
Wait,
I
you
felt like he
did?
was quite consistent.
I voted Guma second. Yeah.
I was closer to Dgon on this than
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Okay,
That
but
was,
let's- so let's-
I wanted to do something a bit radical.
You do love that.
Yeah. So
Um,
that was my one.
I want
You
to.
really did. You're not lying.
Actually, one of my favorite comments, and like, I'm not saying this, I'm also not gonna give the Twitter account, but I had a couple of discussions with some Twitter users about my votes, which we'll get into later, because I think we first talk about the votes at large.
I actually,
And
I
actually,
want to talk about this
One of my favorite lines that they said about you specifically, which I think in my case is just true,
Uh-huh.
is you, me, and Ox all try to be not like the other girls. I'm like, that's actually so true. That's such a justified call out.
We are hipster
It's
contrarians
like,
most
well,
of the time.
I have a different thought.
Yeah.
Actually.
Look, I have my own brain, and look, see, I
I
exercise
will not
it.
be a sheeple.
Yeah.
Which in turn makes you...
Wrong most of the time.
That's not true. I just want to be correct. You guys speak for yourselves. You know,
Okay.
everyone else is just
Well,
wrong.
me and Max are definitely guilty of
Yeah.
that.
No, you can
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
you have Jonah Strong with you. You know, he had some base votes. But,
Where was Jonas Strong
So-
at?
Jonah Strong put Lucid and Diablo in his third team.
That is
Oh,
actually...
yes.
I wish I could be that based.
Yeah, honestly, there were a lot of Diablos that snuck in. I'm actually not even. I should have done that. I should have done that.
So, to kind of put it in perspective, what part of the first team All Pro? I don't think a lot of us voted differently. The only vote that I can see that actually was different was that one of us went Carrier instead of Duro. So we should talk about that. And then one,
In first, yeah.
most of us went Owner over Canyon, so I feel like we should, because Keen, Chovy, and Ruler were all like locked. So I feel like talking about them is not that interesting.
I don't think it was one of us. It was Prince who put Carrier.
Oh, it wasn't. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's still one of us.
Well, we can
One
discuss
of
him
us.
still.
We'll count it. I think that taking the vote away from Duro is kind of
So
crazy.
but
'cause
we
of
should talk.
Just
We
like
can talk about why, right?
yeah.
So, my personal view of it is that there was this stretch during round 3 to 5, specifically like maybe round 3 or 4, where Carrier was in insane form. And this is the one period of the year where I would have said T1 as a whole were in better form than Gen G. That's the best of 3. They took them down, looked in phenomenal form. Carrier was in like insane form, and you know when Carrier's in insane form, he looks unbeatable. And I would say that was like the one, other than LCK Cup, if we're talking like round 1 of 5, I'd say that's the one point where I was like, damn, Carrier is like the best support, clearly. But I feel like Duro has been so consistent outside of that. And since we're voting over such a long period of time, I feel like Duro has just been like constantly putting solid performances round 1 to 5. And so I can understand people being like, you know, Carrier's peak was really high. And maybe if it was like specifically round 3 to 5, I could understand people favoring Carrier more. But for me, especially when it's round 1 to 5, like Duro was so consistently good. And even when Carrier was good, it wasn't like Duro was bad. It was like, to me, that was when Carrier peaked above Duro, is my personal opinion.
I think the way that it works for All Pro especially is it's kind of like golf, right? Like every hole you get plus or minus points, and you just you tabulate it over the year. And so I think consistency is key for winning All Pro in my perspective.
I think it's fair to say it in your perspective, but I think a lot of people don't.
No, a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah.
So I think that and this is the thing, because criteria is not something that's widely agreed upon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so interesting and why it's so fun having a look at other people's votes, because you can be like, oh, they've done this. Obviously, they think about this way, you know? Because a lot of people, I think we would call it recency bias, but I think what they're doing is these players right now are this good, and I want to talk about this point in time.
It's also, I think that this, unfortunately, as much as I don't think it's the episode to talk about specifically how the format, because that comes at, I think, at the very end of the year.
Yeah.
Like a format reflection. I do think that we see this with a player, I think with POM even more so. It kind of flattens how much you can actually tell about the players, and it just really becomes on average who's best, which is going to be fully the team that is currently, what was it, 20, what did they get, 29-1?
Yep.
Right? Whereas I think that, as Dan is saying, if we treated this as spring and summer, Carrier might have gotten it over Duro, right? Like that's a very realistic, but now, as he's saying, because it's over a longer period of time,
I think, if you did like...
if you had
wanted
All-Pro
to do
after
the All
round
Pro
1, 2...
for round 3...
No.
Carrier gets it.
I think 3 to 5 even. I think you could make an argument. I would still go Duro, but like
5, I don't think so.
sure. But what I'm saying is that I do think that it would have been very different conversations compared to if it was just round 1 and 2, for example, Owner would have definitely gotten it.
Yep.
Right. Like
Yep.
if this was a
100%.
spring
Yeah,
versus
100%.
summer situation. So I think that is something that maybe as we go forward, maybe we'll have like interim. Not actual All-Pro, but I still think it's a bummer that with this, we don't really get as good a feeling liked having the snapshot in the middle as well.
Yeah.
Because it made storytelling over the course of the year a lot better for players that like had a lot of variety in form, which again is not Gen G.
I also think it's weird because, like, technically, we're only judging round 1 to 5. So if you think about, let's take Gen G as an example, okay? You judge their round 1 to 5. They went to MSI, forget about that.
Yeah.
They went to EWC, forget about that. And then think about their round 3 to 5. But, like, when you think about this period, it's so hard to view this, forget about this, and view this. It all gets blurred together.
Yep.
You know, you can rewatch VODs and look at it, but, like, your view of how the player has been in this period, you're going to incorporate, like, to an extent. Like, you know, when I think back to the year, some of the moments that are big in my mind is like, oh, remember when he picked like the Pike?
Yep.
Duro picked the Pike game 5. I'm like, well, that's not incorporated, so I have to like take that out. But it's so hard to exclude those
ingrained,
moments.
yeah.
You know, so I think having the international break in between really doesn't help.
It's almost like you need to take a preliminary vote
Well,
and
that's
then attack it later to be like, oh, which has changed,
you don't even
which
have
is
to publish
definitely
those,
wrong.
but just take
That's
them.
what I mean. Yeah. I think we could do that ourselves, right?
You could
to
like
eliminate.
You do
a
like
bit of
round 1 to
recency
2
bias.
vote, and then round 3 to 5 vote, and then you come back with something like that. I don't know, but
Yeah.
Because to your point, it like moments like that against the other person you're potentially voting for and voting against, I think that's very difficult to disassociate with, and made it very difficult. So,
Dgon,
I
do you
understand
have
why
glitter
people do
in
that.
your hair?
Do I?
Yeah, I think so.
Kind of like it.
On the
think
side?
I think it works for
It's
him.
very shiny and sparkly. It was distracting. It's beautiful, though.
I think
Are you a
another
bird?
point.
What?
Are you a bird?
Yes.
I think another point on recency bias is obviously I do think recency bias plays a part, and it's obviously not ideal. But
Yeah.
I also think if you had two players who their average performance was the same, and one had trended upwards and improved, and one had trended downwards and gotten worse, you're always going to favor the one who trended upwards. Like, to me, I will favor a player who finished strong because it's like the growth of the split.
Yeah.
Over one who started strong and like kind of fell off.
Shout out to you, Kyle.
So like, I feel like even though you want to you need to remember the whole split, and recency bias obviously is going to play the votes to an extent. But I still think that, like, you know, if a player starts at 100 and finishes at 0, like, you know, it's a lot less impressive than, like, I'm willing, especially with rookies. Like,
Yeah,
I've
that
never-
kind of 50 is not as impressive as the one that started at 0 and ended at
Yeah,
100.
and I'm often winning when teams are figuring out, or rookies are figuring things out at the start of the split. Like a team who has a rough start. Like, I know LCK Cup wasn't
Talk
incorporated.
about Duro, right?
But like Duro had a rough LCK Cup, and if we were including LCK Cup, I wouldn't really be like, you know,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be as big of a factor compared to, oh, this is when they hit the stride.
Which is kind of like going on to the Rookie of the Year vote, right? Which was pretty obviously Diablo at the end because he had the upward trajectory, whereas she started really high and then petered out just a bit.
But also, I felt like with Diablo, that was a huge part of BNK's win conditions, where she was a win condition, right? And that was one of the comments today. I think it was Prince's comment today. It was game plan win condition number 1, play through Lucid, right? So
Yeah.
She has a great cast to work around, whereas we didn't know what to expect with that BNK for X roster. And quite frankly, I think they were still figuring out how they wanted to play and how they wanted to move forward. And whenever they tried to do the Diablo basket thing, it was always exciting. It didn't always work, but it was always exciting.
Yeah, and I also think that he's kind of the only option on that team, to be honest. So from what we've seen, I think there has been an uptick in performance, especially from Vikla.
Yes.
Clear as well has gotten better, but at the beginning of the season, it was Diablo or die.
I mean,
Well, Kellen was okay.
not to
no,
dive,
I'm sorry,
But
bot
as-
lane or
as a-
die.
yeah.
not to dive too much into like planes discussion, but I think that was pretty heads up from BNK4X to realize put Vikla on utility picks and just
Honestly, Ryu has been coach of the play-ins.
Yes.
He has just been unbelievable. I'm actually quite depressed. We will be talking about coach votes because I think coach votes are also some of the least interesting because we don't have very much to go off.
I just
right?
don't vote.
I don't
No.
vote for coach.
Yeah, I shouldn't have either.
Well, I mean,
but
you
I
can
like
also
to just
do
throw
the,
votes around.
You can
for
just
fun.
do the 1, 2, 3.
Wait,
classic.
Yeah, yeah.
We've named everyone and a coach on BNK4X except my third team All-Pro jungle vote,
Oh, yeah, this is
Raptor. That's the one.
actually
There's a
so
reason
based.
for that.
Do we want to
yeah.
do we want to get into the judge section?
No,
No,
or-
not yet.
Oh, so, well, because I want to talk a little bit about Owner versus Canyon, because I think that's an interesting discussion.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the other votes where we had some diversity, because most of us went Owner, And I think Max went Canyon,
Yeah, I went Canyon.
and no one else had like anything else between. Like it was always those two.
Yeah. And I did Cuz third over Peanut.
Same.
Yeah.
But I think third there was actually you could actually Wild West
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I don't.
I honestly think it's like
No, I
even,
just
even
wanted to
Raptor
ask,
isn't
like,
a
what-
terrible
if
vote
you
for
had a
that.
specific, because for me I was also kind of contemplating. I went with Owner because I think that he had like 2 weeks, like literally one round where he dropped, but then outside of that he was exceptional. And for me, the fact that he was playing with Faker versus Canyon, who's playing with Chovy, I kind of went like, okay, you know what, Owner, yeah, because Faker, as good as he is, his laning this year hasn't been great, right? That's just
Yep.
been a consistent issue for him. So I think that makes it a lot harder to have a consistent impact as a jungler compared to playing with the current best player in the world.
I also personally feel like Canyon's obviously been very good. Like that's the thing. When you decide on being first and second,
It's hard.
Yeah.
both players have obviously been very good. But I do feel like, especially in comparison to past performances, I feel like Canyon, like there's been a lot of games where he hasn't had to do that much.
Last year, Canyon.
I mean,
Chovy
yeah,
was,
yeah.
And
Last
I-
year Canyon was I think worse.
And
than
and
this
I
year,
feel
though.
like Duro has had to. Duro's been doing a lot of work. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
been like he's been a support and like half the jungle role. And I feel like Canyon has there's definitely been games, but I feel like there's been a lot of games where like a lot of the map impact has been handled by his support.
I do think it's really interesting because I watched a recent a discussion. I think it was like a React video, but it was about Pobelter and his like he did like a rise to challenger on 80 carry, and was talking about the support role and just how completely overpowered it is and how much agency and control you have over the game
Yep.
in the current meta as well. I think there is a real microscope on the supports this year with just how much agency they do have in their location on the map, being able to influence so many of the plays that can get made. And I think that it's the conversation about jungle isn't the same as what it would have been a couple of years ago, right? Like, especially if you think about 2020 where Canyon won Worlds, he was by far the best jungler in the world. Like, it was like, and he had to be because jungle was such a pivotal role at that point in time. And now it's sort of drifted to like, it's almost nebulous. You don't necessarily know how much impact he has over the amount of impact a support would have when teamed up with a jungler and making these things happen. And I think it's just really cool.
The thing is, just, like, obviously jungle is pretty strong at the moment with a lot of picks like Wukong, you know, like Sundered Sky is very
Pantheon.
strong, Pantheon.
Xin.
But also, like, you think of some of the supports, like you think about Rel, and even Rel's not like the highest prior support, but you think of here running around the map, making gangs, building Redemption.
Yep.
You think of the impact Redemption has on like a skirmish. And like if you end up opting into like a 2v2 and enemy support turns up, and then it's like has Redemption, it's like the difference is like night and day.
Not to mention like Nico's rise to infamy.
mean-
Well, yeah, I'm so done with this champion. Please,
Yeah.
please. It's like Galio when we look back and we're like, why was Chovy allowed? Why was Faker allowed to like
Taunt Flash was
taunt
so
Flash?
broke.
And I actually think that this is also when we look at some of the teams that have struggled, because the game right now is so insanely objective focused. Because there's Grubs, there's Dragons, there's Otacon, right? Much more than before. If your support isn't doing well, you struggle so much more. I think we saw this with DK, where Barrel is now, I think, played better recently, but for a really long time was basically invisible, which means that you only have a single player in every team
I could
fight.
see him in every game.
Yeah, I know you could. That's okay, Max. But I think that actually we did see, now that Barrel is getting more presence in fights, Lucid isn't getting target focused
Yeah.
every game and dying instantly, and it will make Gen G so good, is where I'm with Dan, and why Carrier gets to do the things that he can is because if a support is running the map, enemy team doesn't get to play the game.
Well, it's like a big oversimplification of it, but it's also why I felt like the one period of the year where I really felt like T1 was above Gen G was when Carrier was in phenomenal form.
Yeah.
And when Owner Carrier were like able to beat out Canyon Duro, that's when I was like, okay, T1 actually they win that best 3, they break that series streak. So I think it's like jungle sports is so important.
I'm
Yeah.
also kind of sad because I feel like we had a really nice, which doesn't always hold true, right? But a weapon triangle between Canyon, Owner, and Peanut, where Canyon would often beat Owner, Owner would stomp Peanut, and Peanut would take down Canyon.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like Breath of the Wild, you know, one of the weapons has to break eventually.
Yes.
And then you have to pull out the next one, unless it's the
Yeah.
Master Sword, and we call that Canyon.
I think that's about it. Everything else, I don't think there was a lot of disagreement. I think third per all votes is generally where people are just like,
Yeah, just
Yeah.
chuck something in there.
Yeah, throw something in there. I don't think those, and also I don't think people are too pressed about those, so I don't know if those are really worth discussing.
Yeah. I also
Too
think that
much.
it's really interesting because there's so
Yeah,
many
no one's-
people that vote.
No
as
one's
well.
ever gotten pressed about a third All-Pro vote, right?
As soon as
Well-
you said that, Dan looked at me like, did he just forget?
The Plata incident.
This is actually the best because now we get to talk about the results. And so now I am going to throw it over to presiding Judge Harrison.
The honorable.
The Honorable, sorry, yes, the Honorable Judge Harrison. Thank you very much, Dgon. And he will now take over, and he will place first Chronicler on the stand. If we could we do some like a Ian? Could we like get a stand like
Bring-
just bad
bring-
overlay?
Bring back the debate episode opening. That shit
Like
was
he's
fire.
a judge.
Like he's in a
like
box. God, that is glorious.
Do not whack me with that.
Order!
Why
Order!
would you tell him that?
Because he's going to think it, and now he knows not to do it.
Yeah, but
Order!
maybe
Now
he
you've
wasn't
put it into his
thinking
brain.
Order
Yeah,
in
I
the
agree.
courtroom.
He was thinking it
sorry,
anyway.
sorry, Judge Harrison.
Yeah. It doesn't make much noise. The squeaky gavel makes more noise.
Just hit the microphone with it. I'm sorry about the microphones. I should stop doing this.
Stop destroying property, man!
Mr. Maritz Mason, please take the stand.
Or the sit. Never understood.
Many-
How
Lower
they
your
sit?
seat, lower
Order!
your seat.
Order!
Lower your seat.
Many have been very concerned about your MVP votes of the year. Just to remind the jury, you voted in first place, BDD from the team KT. Second place, Owner from the team T1. And third place, a Viper from the team Life Esports. Is this correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you please explain why one would do such a thing? So
Okay,
we use
no,
words in this courtroom.
Yeah, that one locked and loaded. All jokes aside, so I wanna. I actually have brought up some, did some research for this as well.
Oh.
And brought back some stats. Guys, take a guess. How many times since the introduction of the award has the MVP not just been someone on the first team All Pro?
Every time.
Every time.
Literally every single time, yes. Has never been an MVP that isn't first All Pro. And I'll tell you, very often it will have also overlapped with the player of the split. To think
Yep.
again, the surprise of absolutely no one.
Yeah,
Can we approve of this?
Yeah?
I agree.
Is it admissible evidence? This is all from...
Wait, do you want me to be your defense lawyer and read your
Present it,
stats?
present it to the
No, I
barrister.
think- do we
Present
have
it
to
to the
be the
barrister.
No,
jury?
yeah, it's Barrister
Oh, yeah,
Dgon.
we're Barrister Dgon.
So
Sure.
it's Barrister Dgon.
I'm too dumb to be a lawyer.
no,
Isn't
it's
a barrister a lawyer?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
And then it's Bailiff
See?
Atlas.
Too
Atlas,
dumb.
you got big bailiff energy.
What's a bailiff?
That's the guy
the
that I thought I
bouncer.
was.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Wait.
You're the bouncer.
So what do I do
Okay.
as the bailiff?
If someone is unwieldy, you will
Looks
remove
good,
them
Your
from the
Honor.
courtroom.
but doesn't he
I can
do his
read.
spatula for that?
No, because he's the judge. He's not doing anything
But
except
he gets
judging.
to go bonk bonk.
Bailiff,
Sorry.
lock in.
I need to bailiff
Does
myself.
everything look good?
Gory?
Yes, Gory is
It's
on
not
there.
in Dutch, is it?
No.
No, Gory is on there. That's
2021
That's
was
actually
Gory?
what
Did
I
he
would
get
argue.
first All Pro that year as well?
Yeah, no, I think he got the player of the split, which I think is actually Peanut's
Oh, right,
greatest,
yeah, yeah, 'cause he got the
greatest
most pop
achievement
points, right?
ever.
Yeah.
Which that's a whole other conversation. What I want to get into is, I think that the fact that we have effectively 3 awards all for the same thing is really boring, right? And I think that it's even worse now with POM compared to where it was before. Because
Yeah.
with POM, you have even more of a flattening of individual performance to just an average. So basically, before, if you had a really good game 1, but kind of a messy game for you, would still get POG.
Yeah.
And you would still get recognized for that you had, even
That
in your
game.
ups and downs, a really good game. With POM, none of that happens, which is why Chovy is even further ahead than he's ever been, because on average, he is unbeatable.
Also, like he had some of the most incredible games in rounds 1.
I mean,
one
he
and
is,
2
and again, like,
especially.
this
because he
is
got
really...
the majority of his points.
Yeah,
in the
and
first
also I
2
want to make
rounds.
very clear, this isn't about like if you ask best player, it will be Chovy, and I don't think anyone, and which is why he won MVP by like a giga landslide.
Yeah.
Right. But I think that I see these awards as a way to give player recognition for what they've been able to do and what they've been able to achieve, right? These awards have no requirements. If there was a requirement and it said vote for MVP and it says MVP, best player, best individual player of the split, I would have voted Chovy. I would have voted Duro and Keen. I don't know about the order for Duro and Keen. I would have to think about that, and that would have been a complete no-brainer. I think those are the 3 best individual players, and I don't think it's particularly close. But as long as there's no requirement, I like it to interpret it, which we can because they haven't had the requirements, despite this conversation happening every year, as specifically which player offered the most to the actual success of the team. Which I am not voting for any Gen Z player because I think they had 4 out of the best players in the world. Not just the league, in the world. Because again, they are 29-1. They won MSI. Like, the only one where it's slightly arguable is Canyon. So I'm not going to vote for any of them because relatively to each other, their impact is going to be a lot less. Whereas BDD is, as we all know, has not had teammates for basically the entire year. You know, Duckers was there and Peter was there for a little bit.
The court would like to inquire.
Wait, doesn't someone need to be the prosecutor?
I think that's just the judge. I think we rolled it into one for
the
thematic
court-
consistency.
Because I was like, who rebuts?
I think
who
it's,
gets to
I
be
think,
like,
I think it's too
The
chaotic.
court would like to inquire. 2024 summer, who was your MVP?
Chovy.
Would you like to explain
I
the
will,
difference?
I will happily explain because I think the things that Chovy did last year were not replicable by any mid laner. And I think that the distance between him and first was way bigger.
And
this was
also
during
the distance between him and the rest of his teammates was
and
much bigger
that's
as
the biggest thing, right? Because I think that was in a period where both Canyon, even though it wasn't AP jungler meta, I think on his champions was really good, but it was a bit more up and down.
Yep.
I think that it was a lane swap meta, so Keen wasn't allowed to shine the same way that he has this year, even though he was still really good. It's just like top lane impact in a lane swap meta is fake, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's about how well are you and how good are you at not losing, which doesn't really, like, you can't really factor that in. And then his bot lane, I think, was as good as they were, still a lot more inconsistent, right? Pace, again, and I was really big on the Pace hype train, still am, as we all know. What do we?
Continue.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty sure that was
I-
Lahens. Like, let's be honest.
Pace and Lahens?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was mainly Lahens.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
no,
the-
I mean,
as
I
Lahens.
don't think that is true.
He's had.
Well, I mean, like, but Pace wouldn't be
inconsistency.
Pace without Lahens.
Okay, well, that's a whole... It's a whole different conversation. I'm not going to be thrown off.
That's easy.
Basically, I think that last year, Chovy's teammates were worse, and Chovy himself was truly the same way that we've seen Carrier do at his peak. Right, 2023 Carrier season is a really good example of this, where he is just completely. 2020 Canyon is another one where what this player does can in no way, shape, or form be replicated by anyone else in the league. Now, you can say BDD, if you put Chovy in BDD's situation, wouldn't it be pretty similar? Probably. But League is, for me, always a team game. And bad play or good players on bad teams are punished just as much as the Gen G players are now for having a good team. Right? Like, I'm not considering them for MVP, which is why I didn't vote for any Gen G player. Because I think that BDD, Owner, and honestly, the third vote, Viper, I'm not sure if I should have gone that or should have gone for Zeus or like Raptor. Because I think that Viper and Zeus were both really good in spring. And then I think Viper had a better whole year, but he did also have a substantial drop off
Bit of a
towards
dip,
the end.
yep.
But for BDD and Owner, there were large parts of the year, in BDD case, I argue really most of the year, where he individually is the reason why his team performed the way he did. And for Owner, this was round 1 and 2. And obviously, starting round 3 to 5, this didn't really apply anymore for T1 as they really leveled up. But they wouldn't have been in that position in the first place. And I think that the race for second wouldn't have been nearly as close if it wasn't for Owner. So I think that just voting, as we have been doing, for just whoever of the first All-Pro team is the best individual player is just kind of boring. And if they add the criteria and it says vote for the best player, individual player instead of most valuable, I'll do that.
So if you had to write a 1 to 2 line summary or criteria for what you believe MVP should be, let's say they said, okay, we're going to do MVP the way you think it should be.
I can do it in
Chronicler.
3 words.
It's really no.
Well,
Most
he's the one in the,
valuable player.
he's the one in the stand now. So let's say they said we're going to change it. So we want the MVP to be done the way you view it. What would be your 1 or 2 line where you'd present
Which
it?
player was the most valuable to their team's success this year?
Just added words.
No, but it's very different from most valuable player.
It was
it?
within his honor
It's with
rules
it's specifically
requirements.
on well it's specifically the performance, like to what extent can the performance of the team as a whole be linked to this individual player,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Like obviously you can add some further
I
specification
was gonna
to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is what percent of the team's success is this individual player's.
How
And
much
again-
pressure is on this player, and how well
42.
did they then do?
And
Yeah, 42
actually,
for BDD.
in hindsight, maybe I should have
No,
gone.
more than that.
Maybe I should have gone for owner first, right? Because I can think of Chovy. I think could have done the same thing as BDD in his position. If Chovy was on that roster, I think that wouldn't have surprised me if he did the same thing. But that's like kind of hypothetical.
I think
right?
like you do have to take into account that Chovy wasn't in the position to have to do any of that stuff.
yeah.
But I don't think that takes away from BDD's value
It's also like,
in any way, shape, or form.
Chovy-
Because BDD was in that position and then rose to it.
does Chovy need a third award when he's so obviously
but
the
I
best
don't
player in the
like
world?
that.
No, but because
But I also don't think that, like, in a lot of the games, Chovy was not the most valuable player. And I think that I don't think his rounds 3 to 5 were all that he looked like a player coasting. He honestly looked, he was playing Galio, Annie. He was doing his job. He was doing it well. He was still Chovying, but he wasn't making the, like, massive plays, the 4-man taunts. He did actually get a couple.
All right,
of
so
those. But,
I
like,
think
you know
now-
what I mean? Like, he
now-
wasn't
so now we're
doing the
pivoting
same
to
I
voting
think
for
stuff.
I think we're getting a little out of
yeah. So,
ourselves.
so
Got it.
we're now pivoting to voting for other Gen G players. I don't think that's my case.
I think you've rested your case.
I've rest my case.
Yeah.
If they add well, I mean, I'm not going to vote anymore, so it doesn't matter. But
I
if
will
they
say-
would have added specifications, I would
will
just do
say,
that.
You've had
Will,
your time.
I like-
I'll email
order,
them to
order,
you.
order.
Don't
worry.
Okay, we've had a time. Mr. Maris Musen has made his case, and now it is up to you, the jury at home, to decide. If you think that Chronicler hasn't made a good enough case, and you express it in the comments, he will be fired and not return next year. So make sure to let us know.
And also, if you deem him innocent, he'll be fired and will not return next year.
No, I'll be freed. I'll be free to go. Fly like a bird.
That's another way to look at it.
It's Nelly
I mean,
Furtado,
because
right?
like in the
Yes.
yeah, I'm like a bird, I'll only fly away. Yep. I mean, in the end, it's just the argument of what happened in the room, right? It's like you're fired. Well, I quit. You know, horses for courses.
Well, those are
really.
actually legally very different things. Because in case of you getting fired, you have a severance package.
all right.
He
shut up.
quit.
I did quit.
For a freelancer, not so much, as it turns out.
Okay, moving on to the next case.
Oh god.
Mr. Maxwell Anderson.
Yeah.
Oh, it feels so
It's
good.
the bailiff.
It feels so good to say Mr. Anderson.
Wow. You're welcome.
Please.
Can you do a better Australian accent though? Because it's Hugo Weaving's line, you know.
I don't think so. I don't want to.
Mr. Anderson.
I don't want to try and butcher it.
I mean, he does an American accent. In the movie.
Please take the stand
Or the sit. Do you want me to stand?
briefly and then sit again.
I was worried that the chair had rolled away.
So we have you here today because something quite small occurred, but it is not something we can ignore in this court.
Small.
Does anyone else
Everything-
think Dan should not be given
Order!
power?
Everything else we've seen seems to be in check, but there is one little issue.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is it true that you chose head coach Duke as your third best coach?
Yes.
Can you please explain your actions to this court on this day?
Well, if you want the short answer,
No, we want the long answer.
all right, I'll give you the short one first,
Okay, then the long answer.
and then the long answer afterwards. The short answer is Coach Kim was going to win. So the next two votes are irrelevant. That's the first one. That is to add context on the impact of third place coach of the split, okay? The impact of voting for anyone as third place coach of the split is approximately 0. Okay? Because the winning team's coach wins every year. That has remained true. It has always been true.
Can we get a fact check on this?
I have not checked that, but based on the awards, I would say, yeah, that's definitely true.
I'm on it, Your Honor.
Thank you.
But I also want to defend the fact that I just quite enjoyed the difference between Bro with and without Duke. I actually felt like he was surprisingly good. And it's very hard to judge the impact of a coach based on us not having access to comms in draft and things like this. We know that a lot of teams actually allow the players to have a lot of say in draft, and it's not even necessarily the coaches with drafting plans. That being said, I do attribute a lot of what B&K did in the play-ins to Ryu, which does go against that just a little bit. But that might also be the fact that the B&K players are on the same page and they have these cool plans all together. But I think largely the direction was provided by Ryu, so maybe I voted him a little bit lower. But play-ins aren't included. And I don't think the B&K drafts were the same throughout the year. But I thought Bro with Edgar were fine, but I was often uninspired by the draft. And the difference in Bro from Edgar to Duke, you could see a tangible improvement in draft, in my opinion. And it didn't translate to the results.
I mean, they made
that much.
They made play-ins.
They did. It didn't necessarily translate to them looking that much better, but I did think that heading onto the Rift, they had a lot of tools and they got things done. They had the resources to do things. I think Duke left them in a good spot. So that's why I put him there. I just wanted to give him a little bit of a shout out. And I didn't because I know a lot of people just choose not to vote for All Pro, and for coach of the split, they just kind of leave that one blank because we just don't have a lot of information. And so I just wanted to throw him a bone.
Your Honor, he did say the coach that wins, if you win Coach of the Year. Now, he did not specify what you win. Is it you win the LCK?
As
No,
in,
you win the
at the
regular
time,
season.
You win the regular
top of the
season?
regular season.
Yeah.
All right, well, I don't know who was top of the regular
Okay.
season.
Well,
We know.
it's
All right, so Hirai in 2023. It was
Yes.
Coach Kim in 2024, obviously.
Yes.
And Score in 2022, and then Coma in
Yes.
2021.
That is...
Yeah,
Yes.
that is actually just first place.
I do have some comments from some fans that I'm going to read out to you.
Please.
You don't have to necessarily address them, but I thought you want to hear these allegations against you.
Okay.
The first one, we need to check their elo and rank. And
Uh-huh.
the follow-up was, if it's a joke, that's more stupid. Joking in all pro votes, ? Were you joking?
No.
Are you going to defend the allegations against your elo and rank?
What?
They're questioning your qualifications.
Why is my elo and rank going to help with my qualifications for judging coach?
I am not the one making these
Okay.
accusations.
Well, I'm going to ignore that one.
Okay.
He pleads the fifth, Your Honor.
We're not in America.
No, I'm just going to say it's a stupid
not the
thing
fifth
to say.
everywhere?
No, are you joking?
Yes. I just wanted to see if
No, I actually believed that. Oh my God, Dgon, why would you do that?
You got it.
That's horrible.
Oh, wow.
Okay, you got him. Like, it's so hard to rage bait me.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, but it was in
So hard. No, it's actually
Okay.
It was a really good joke. It was
After
a really
all
good
pro
sell.
votes were announced, you had tweeted about your
Oh,
favorite
speaking
topic.
of rage bait, that's a
You
really good
tweeted about your
segue.
favorite topic, Beryl.
Yes.
Korean fans were very caught off guard by this tweet.
Uh-huh.
Please see evidence 1512 to 27. Can you please explain to the members of the jury what you meant by this?
It's actually 12-27.
Okay, allow me to read my tweet for the
I
class.
will hold you in contempt of court.
And you know what my favorite part about this is? Everyone that's watching the Pog State will not understand how anyone could take this as anything serious. But it's okay. Well, actually, there was
I'm
one
just,
guy.
Before you can, I'm just going to quickly read some of the comments just so they know for context.
Okay.
WTF, ? Is this guy crazy, ? I think he's saying that on purpose. Fail joke, not funny.
Whoa. Wow.
Not my words. Not my words.
It makes me pretty sad that that's what they said. The tweet, by the way, was I went onto Reddit. I was looking for a fight, basically.
Looking for drama.
Yeah, I was looking for the drama, and I scrolled down, and everyone was just like, "Oh yeah,
Makes sense.
BDD my goat. Oh yeah, no, everything's great. Oh, look at that All Pro. Yeah, no, that's really good. Genji were amazing this year. Oh, BDD got second. That's great. I thought Faker played well, but at least he got third. Like, it was crazy.
You know
Yes.
what?
The positive reaction.
You know what? Actually, the only negative response was, which I also thought was the dumbest, was obviously from the people that were mad that Guma got third.
Instead of second.
That was actually like
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous.
No,
well, obviously, because I didn't even put him in my top 3. I'm surprised that that's not something that's here.
Yeah.
But that's fine. But what I said, just to add some context,
No, I mean
is,
like as in people wanted him to be lower.
Do we want to let the defendant speak?
Oh,
Yeah, just I
right.
don't. No. Second or third, most people were fine with.
Right, okay.
No. I'm saying that he wasn't top 3 at all.
No, I had the opposite interaction on Twitter. I had people that were like, "You are a based voter for putting him second." And I was like, "Really?" Like, I think it was fine.
it was
Based
quite
on what?
close between those two, for me.
Based on what? Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know what based.
Carry
is
on.
Okay,
Emotes?
thanks
No,
to
it's
the judge.
guys. It's Based God. It's a rapper.
I forgot. You're right.
It was
is
a
based
song.
on-
Daniel, can you hit
I
people
can't say the
with
whole
your
lyrics.
spatula, please? Thank you. What I was going to say is just to provide some context on the tweet. My tweet was, it's pretty devastating that everyone seems pretty okay with the LCK All-Pro votes. I feel so alone. Any other barreled is robbed believers? Question mark.
For the record, Atlus's third
Have a look at my
third support vote.
votes.
I'm checking the document. Max Anders Delight.
Wait. No. But I'm
But
looking at.
who's first?
No,
I mean,
no.
that's the most important one.
Okay, you check first and second.
Okay.
Dgon, can you take a look at? Is he in Rookie of the Year?
I am. Did he find a way?
Barrel wins Rookie of the Year.
Oh wait, regular season MVP.
Wait,
Yeah,
MVP.
maybe it's here.
Max Anderson. No.
No.
Do you slipping him Coach of the Year?
And so, like, there's a reason why this is so dumb, because the all
Well, they
pro
did
votes,
get her. It was a joke. They just didn't think it was funny. So
But I don't care.
No, I think
If
the
you don't
real
find a joke
no,
funny, don't laugh at it and move on.
Max, I
You've
think
got
the
better
real
things to
defense.
do.
Here's the switch up, because the real defense isn't against these fans who
Uh-huh.
are accusing you of not having good taste in comedy.
Yes, Your Honor.
The real defense is why is Beryl not in your All Pro votes?
How do
in
you
any,
think-
in any manner whatsoever?
how do you think Barrel's gonna feel when he's? Because you know he was sitting at home, opening his gotcha, and then he's like, "Oh, the All Pro votes are out. I'm gonna take a look."
I'm gonna say
And then he looks.
And he thought he had one guaranteed vote.
you didn't stand on business, okay?
You stood off business.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. And that's to go back to the
not
previous
clocking on
point,
him.
which was that I actually respect the vote and would prefer it to be accurate.
Did I remind you what you said about third place coach vote?
Well, that's no, but like, there's not an
Can we
all
check the
pro.
record?
There's not an all pro 1, 2, 3 of coach.
Yes, that's what he said.
It's first
He
that's
is
the
correct,
most
Your Honor.
important, and it's always going to be Coach Kim.
Then what about
So-
MVP? Because it's not 1, 2, 3 for MVP.
No, I stand by my MVP votes.
But
I
you
love
could,
those.
but you could have put Beryl in third MVP and it wouldn't have affected anything.
Yes, it would have.
What would it affect?
Well, actually, no. That's a good point. I should have done that. I should have done that.
I don't feel like that should be
You're
the.
right.
I don't feel like that should be the takeaway
I'm
from
sorry,
this conversation.
Your Honor.
I just want
Next
to put that
year,
out there.
and I know I'm
No.
standing trial right now. I am in the box, and I will put my hand on the Bible and say, next time,
No.
I need to enjoy myself
No,
with my
no,
third
no.
place MVP.
No,
vote.
Ono is a much better vote.
Our court is about reconciliation.
Yep.
And we're not just about punishment. We're about
I
people
just wanted-
bettering themselves.
Yeah.
And we're glad that we
I
can come to
do
this
not
conclu-
condone this
Order
opinion.
in the court. Order in the court.
Not on board.
Why,
Please.
I'm
why
just
don't the
glad.
Korean fans like Juke though? I think he's cool.
Well, I do think this is an entirely different conversation, but I think that the best part about All Pro and all these awards is that we get the votes and we get to talk about our opinions, and that's fun. And it's
Yeah.
fun if people have different opinions, even if you think they're dumb.
Yeah.
Because
You know what
otherwise,
the worst part is?
who would you dunk on? Who would you furiously type about?
Well, like, this
if
is
you
what
didn't
I
have
was looking
Atlus?
for. This is what I was looking for on the internet. So thankfully, I helped bring it about.
I mean-
next time though, I will be putting Beryl third in my MVP vote. And actually, for the rest of my career, I may just put Beryl third.
So based.
In fact, when Beryl is not in the LCK anymore,
You'll find a way.
he will be third in my MVP vote.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. from
What
now
I
on.
appreciate is that although we're doing this judge kind of setup here, people are getting a real good look at what it's like hanging out with.
No comment.
Yeah. Says the man who lives right
Okay.
next door.
This one, Okay, Brendan's not here, so we can move off sheet a little bit. Because before we move on to the addressing everyone,
Yes, Your Honor. Am I out of the box now?
you're out of the box.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Who's in?
Um,
Me again?
no.
Mr. Gone?
Dgon, you're a new addition to the voting.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, I did not have a vote last
You'll
year.
speak when I allow you to speak.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can I revisit
those-
the earlier point about Dan not?
For those
Having power.
who don't know, Dgon didn't have a vote last year, and now was granted a vote, a prestigious honor that not many people have. And there was some areas in which Dgon, I have some questions, and I
I
just
feel
want
like I'm getting my test graded in front of my eyes.
I just want you
I
to
hate that
defend
feeling.
your opinions, okay, Mr. Daniel Gonzalez? I would ask you to step into the stand.
On two.
Stand into the sit. Yep. Beautiful.
Okay, so the main thing I do want to take a look at is
Can I
when
very
we go.
shortly
You
interject?
span a lot of the.
Very quickly,
allow it.
I want to apologize. I could have done better. Jonah Strong was based enough to vote Lucid third All Pro, so I could have as well, and I didn't, and I regret that, and I want to apologize. Carry on.
Okay, we know you're a coward.
My God.
Woo!
Oh my God. Okay.
Mr. Daniel Gonzalez.
I'm awake now.
Daniel
When-
already is going to have to look for new material. next year.
When we look at your All-Pro votes, everything seems to be in order. But when we look at the third All-LCK team, you opted to put Raptor in for jungle.
Yes, Your Honor.
So do you want to...
Do you also know about his third vote for All Pro coach? Or third coach?
Wait, did
we'll
you
get
do
to
one
that.
and you didn't get in trouble?
Oh, he will, apparently.
So,
No one escapes.
so I would like you to... First, I want you to explain your decision making. And also, I want you to talk about specifically some of the other junglers that you could have put ahead of him and why you decided not to.
Well, Your Honor, I think in this league we have a top two heavy jungler league, right? We talk a lot about the top two teams in the league. I think they run off those teams. I think the God Nut, Peanut, has had a great career. But saw some cracks
mean
in the
Nut
outer
God?
shell.
The nut god.
Yes.
Not God.
Or the god nut. I think god nut did happen at one point. I was like, why are you guys looking at me so weird?
Not God.
The nut god.
The
God
court,
Nut
the
God.
court recognizes not God at this time. Please continue.
The Nut God was seeing some cracks in the shell. Not finding a lot of success in the victories for Hanwha Life Esports. So, naturally, you would look at the other candidates for the prestigious vote of my first ever third team All-Pro jungle.
And the other candidates that you felt were in contention were...
I think Cuz. I think Gideon. I think Croco.
Yep.
I think, yeah, it would be those four.
What?
After a
That
year,
was three.
you had.
You named three.
So after
And
a year, you
Oh,
had
Raptor. No.
Gideon over Lucid.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Luke.
So it then went back to kind of how you construct doing the vote, which is what I was going to chime in on earlier when Mr. Musin was on the stand. But I'm
Musin.
waiting for my turn. Musin.
Milson.
Musin.
good.
Meowson.
Milson.
Milson.
Milson. Deegan did it the best. Guys, it's not that hard. Milson.
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 And I think with this format, it's a format kind of set up with a vote, you had
Continue.
I can do this.
Dan kills me. I can't. I don't know why. Okay, sorry.
I apologize.
Yeah.
You had to look at the competition that they were playing against. And obviously, Gideon did so well that we gave him a nickname in rounds 1 and 2.
Gideon Grubbs.
Gideon Grubbs.
Yes.
It's really only round one.
Yes, it was actually round 1. After they took away the second Grubs, there were no Grubs. It was just Gideon Grubb, and that didn't work as well.
He played Poppy that good time twice.
He had some good Sejuani games.
True.
I think Cuz was way more impactful last year than he was this year. And then to his team, actually. And so when you looked at the second half of the season with both Cuz and Gideon, I think the competition that they played against, their teams weren't fit to function. And so therefore they weren't able to function at as great as they normally would have. So it then led me to, well, who was performing well? Who was having impactful performances? So you had to look at the Rise group, where the matches were a little bit more equal and who shined well there. And I think in rounds 3 and 4, like for D+, Shiwu was having a pretty rough go of it, which made it very difficult for Lucid to do a lot. And then Showmaker and Beryl were having a very difficult go of it, which meant Lucid didn't have anywhere to go. So I think he wasn't performing well, not because of himself. It was kind of like what was happening to Gideon and to Cuz. So then you go to next team there, and there's B&K Fearax. And when you think about, man, some of the toughest performances in mid lane in the league, that's Vikla. And when you think about some of the most anonymous performances in the top lane, man, that's clear. And Raptor still made that work and was one of the most consistent parts of that team's success. He was, despite having a negative in the mid lane at certain points of the season, Vikla has gotten a lot better. He was still finding ways to set up Diablo and work with Kellen to make that team work. And I think it was just by an eye test, like crazy impactful how they were able to find success through him, like bypassing 2 parts of the lane that weren't able to work to win. You then go to Krakow, and I think Krakow had some pretty like carry performances, but also disappeared in matches that mattered. That was against D+, and then against opponents that they were supposed to defeat in DNF.
Also, can you, just to make clear to the court, mattered a lot to you?
It mattered a lot to me, Your Honor.
Yeah.
I actually think you missed an opportunity though, Dgon.
What's up?
Because I think like voting third, Raptor, Croco, it's the same. You could have just Crocoed.
I could have, but
I
it was
definitely
my
think
first
Raptor is a better vote than
Yeah.
Croco, though.
Well, I just think Raptor's really dumb as a vote, so you just may as well have done Croco and at least voted with your heart.
By the way, I know it has absolutely no bearing on the discussion at hand, but Morgan also voted for Lucid, which just...
I mean, he's the best. He's the best, as we know.
you used Morgan to get
Do you want it?
But yeah, like when I go down the list there, when I think about who contributed to the success the most and was able to look the best,
I think
it really depended on who they were playing against in the second half of the season, which made it more
just,
interesting.
yeah, for the record.
that's why
so-
it's really important, though, because
Coma
Legend Group
also
and Rise
voted
Group
for Lucid.
were
Yeah,
separated, right?
Yeah.
And so Cuz's opposition through the entirety of the last 3 rounds
Yeah.
was against much more difficult opponents.
Yeah, that's why-
And so
that's
it's
why I went
much
Cuz.
so I think that you always have to, like, especially for the teams at the bottom of the Legend Group, like we saw Gideon wasn't able to recover and has now been eliminated. But in KT's case, I felt like they actually managed to get better.
But it goes back to the success of KT. That was mainly through BDD. And there were times where Cuz...
No,
I would argue that it was BDD, and as soon as Cuz stepped up alongside him, they were actually able to win.
I actually, because I voted Cuz, that was the vote I was the least sure about. I actually think it was more so Dom and Peter together with BDD. And I think Cuz...
Docdom was like... I saw some of the third Docdom votes, and I was like, damn, should I...
No Peter, no win.
Yeah,
True.
because
too.
I was actually, I've been really big on Cuz.
Peter,
I
no
feel like
way.
it was criminal that he was stuck on Kwangdong last year when he was, to me, one of the biggest parts of what made KT 2023 so good. I think he's an exceptional jungler. I do think that this year, I forgot who said it, but he didn't feel like he had the impact he had before.
Yeah.
I still went with him over, because of what Atlus was saying, which is he's playing against...
Still one with him over Lucid. I just want to remind everyone that Chronicler voted for Cuz
I
over
am
Lucid.
I am not a perfect man, Your Honor.
But because it goes back to the framework, because when it went to my bot lane vote for second and third team All-Pro, it was who were you playing against? And Viper looked great in rounds 1 and 2. In rounds 3 through 5, he looked great against KT and Nongshim, but in those show me moments, did he show up against Guma? Did he show up against Ruler? Not as consistently as Guma did. And so therefore, if I use that same thinking towards the jungler role, there wasn't really a good candidate at third.
I
Because Peanut
actu-
wasn't towards the
For
success.
me, the
for
majority
Life
of the
Esports.
games, though, were rounds 1 and 2. So
I
Like,
just-
I think
I
that
actually
you have
think
to
the
weight it a little bit more.
AD carry vote's probably the closest when it comes to one, because I feel like Ruler ended by far the strongest, which is why he just got first. But before MSI, him and Duro were like, they were quickly getting better, but they still weren't the strong suit of the team. It was more sort of top side.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, but that's why I ended up with Raptor there. Just when I look at in those performances at the end of the season, who were you playing against, and did you show up when it mattered the most? That was Raptor.
So what
Okay,
is the
well-
judgments?
Well, like I said, it is up for the jury to decide, and depending on what the commenters say,
Wait,
we'll
I'm not.
decide-
I want to be here next year.
No. Obviously, no. Don't.
I think you'll be okay.
Dgon, don't worry. They'll just decide whether you get to keep your All Pro votes or not.
Please.
Okay, moving on to our next point. This one's kind of addressed to everyone. That
Okay.
many fans were obsessed by your Rookie of the Year votes.
Maybe you can handle this, Judge, because I feel like you haven't really been.
I'm happy to talk about this.
I feel like this one, like, how could anyone have issue with this?
The thing is,
this vote.
you know why this is great? Because it just didn't age. It just didn't age. Mostly
Oh,
because
no.
they didn't mind either Diablo or Calyx getting it, but the English talents mostly chose first place Diablo, second Shiwu, and third Calyx, bumping Calyx's points down. Can someone explain this point? And then some of the comments were Calyx's points were drained by people who have him third. I can't understand how Calyx is lower than Shiwu. All the English talents went Shiwu over Calyx. I think they did it on purpose to sabotage Calyx. I will say outright that no one did it on purpose to sabotage Calyx. No one thinks about it like in a devious way like that. It's a very weird way to
And
think
also,
about it.
if we were gonna sabotage him, why would we have him on the list?
Also, not
Well, you
all of
have
us
to.
voted Shiwu in front of Calyx.
You actually don't.
that's
I don't
factually
think you
wrong.
have to have him on the list.
don't.
You can leave it
Yeah,
blank.
you
You
can
can
just leave
just
it blank.
not vote.
Yeah, you can just not vote.
Yeah, I also like. I mean, I could say there was like brief little conversations, but I don't think any of us really talked about Rookie of the Split to each other.
I mean,
Yeah, we did.
stuff.
Did we?
We
I
did.
had a lot of conversations about it.
I think for me,
Oh.
this is just
Thanks for
one of
leaving me
those-
out.
Yeah.
I thought you were there. Actually.
Yeah, I was there as well. Sorry, buddy. I'm joking.
He's
He's
not
too
sorry.
honorable.
No, I'm. How am I doing making a joke on
you
that?
just
and I
said sorry and then said I'm joking. What
Alright.
do you want me to think?
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So what I want to highlight is this is something I see every now and then. The actual reason, and I actually talked to a lot of other broadcast talent people that watch CSK as well, is that there is just a very perceivable shift in how players are appraised depending on whether they're global or Korean broadcast. And it's because the broadcast focuses on different things.
Yeah.
So, like, I think...
I also think that like there's a bit of goldfish memory as well with a lot of people. Like there's just a lot of what happens very early on.
Oh
in
no,
the
no I
season
don't.
is forgotten.
I mean, we can get into like what is actually on the vote, but I think that's one of the things that's fun, isn't it? Like what I would love is what if we get, if it's possible, like Pony on here, and we get to talk about the difference in the vote, how we appraise the players. That's so cool.
I mean, yeah, there's very clearly a difference. I do just want to give some context because if we think about right the order, Diablo, Shiwu, Calyx. Let's think about what just happened in play-ins. Who got out of play-ins first? Diablo. Who got out of play-ins second? Shiwu. Who didn't get out of play-ins? Calyx.
what?
I don't know. I guess it's just.
You mean
it's-
Calyx who didn't go out?
That's
Yeah,
what I
he
mean.
Oh,
didn't
go
make
out.
it out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
didn't
didn't
make it out.
Objection, Your Honor. These votes are based on everything.
No, but I'm
up to
saying
this
it
point.
just shows that we were
No,
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
It's proof.
We had
is
the
in
right
the
read.
pudding.
There we go. No,
And
but in
we
all
call
serious,
play-ins pudding in this case.
in all serious, I think the Diablo Calyx thing isn't really a point of contention because I think a lot of the comments have kind of said that they understand Diablo being higher.
Yeah, it's the
We
second
obviously-
place that people are interested in.
Yeah, I mean, I think my thoughts for Shiwu is I think obviously Shiwu had some struggles rounds 3 and 4, but I think round 1 and 2, there's a lot of points where I found him pretty impressive. I think Shiwu as a player definitely was like, I guess. I think D plus as a team generally have had a lot of struggles. I think that's why it's been difficult, and I think he didn't end as strong. I think that's why he's like looked rougher.
I also think Calyx, so there's a big difference between Nongshim and DK as far as an environment to be in as a rookie as
Yeah.
well. Because Lehens is so good at developing new talent
Okay.
that
heard this
Calyx
before.
has obviously a much larger like thing to draw on to get better. Because Pays
Yeah.
obviously is only good because of Lehens and his impact.
Thank you, Max. Thank
Whereas on the side of DK, Shiu is held back by Beryl's existence on the team, only causing chaos. And so, therefore, you do have to add that in when you factor the two.
Thank you.
Thank you all for listening to my bit.
But I think, so two of the points I've seen, I mean, I think Shiu had some pretty fantastic investor performances. I think was making some big plays in the top lane, and obviously fell off round 3 and 4, but I think was also very impressive to us.
It's also for me the reason, and I think again, 2 to 3 for me is a little bit nebulous. Diablo was the standout to me because I feel like he was the most game warping rookie. The same way I've voted for like previous rookies, right? I think Pace was another really obvious example.
Yeah.
Where it's just like his team is built, like even the fact that Raptor, one of the best things that Raptor has done, and this is not to discredit him, but that he has been able to consistently get off bot ganks, which like unironically actually like is much easier said than done, right? Because if you path down, you divert your pathing, you mess it up, you lose a lot, especially against any of the LCK teams, right? They'll be able to punish that. So for me, I think that Diablo, again, is a no-brainer. I think that when DK was good, Shiu was a legitimate win condition. Whereas
Actually, and I think that most people were thinking about Rookie of the Split as being Shiu's guarantee.
at the beginning of the year.
At the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I think, like, for the first, like, 2 splits, I don't think that anyone had really changed their
Because
mind.
Diablo was way lower.
Yeah, and so I think that, like, that's why I'm saying, like, the whole goldfish mentality is, like, how dare they put Shiu up there? It's like, well, this includes all that time where there was no doubt in our mind that this guy was going to be number 1, let alone number 2 or 3.
I think as well, my view on Calix is he obviously joined Nongshim later,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, halfway through the season.
And then they obviously had their time in the Legend group where the team looked very rough.
Yep.
So like you joined later, your time in the Legend group was very rough, but not him personally, but obviously as a team looked very rough. So I feel like it's a lot less tape, right? And that's not to say like you should be judged worse because less tape, but like I just think it's, especially like in the Legend group, a lot of the comments I've seen is like, oh, well, he was against harder competition. He did well against really good mids. But I also think one of the discussions about the mid competition in the Legend group, because one of the big things I saw people praising him for was matching up against the mid pool there. But what I will say is that like, I don't think Chovy's threat in lane this in round 3 to 5 was as severe as we've seen in other seasons, even though he was still very impressive. BDD was obviously, still a big threat. Faker's laning wasn't the most threatening, and Zeka was not looking great. So I think there's other periods of time where like the top 4 mids in the LCK have been like an unbreachable pack, right? I don't think that like being in Legend Group alongside those top 4 was as difficult as has been in previous years, is the only thing I'll say. Because I think a lot of people are like, oh, he's hanging with the big dogs. By default, he is a big dog. I don't think you can say that with how the mid pool was performing in the Legend Group. Even though I think if you're doing well in the Chovy and BDD, that should be praised. I'm not like I'm not saying this to like talk down on him. I just think that like that's a lot of the praise people had for him was that he was hanging
And
with
also,
those big dogs.
Shiu didn't lose to any of them rounds 3 to 5.
There you go.
So
Well, that's funny. This goes back to my construct of voting. It's who were you playing against, and then how did you fare, right? I think as much as Shiu was great in a legitimate win condition, I think that was mostly through LCK, not mostly, a lot through LCK Cup. And I think out of these 3, he had the largest variance between what his high was and what his lows were in rounds 3 and 4. Like it was listless. It was
sometimes
not good.
in the same game.
Yes. Sometimes in the same game. Whereas Calix was selected over Fisher to be the higher floor, maybe lower ceiling, but we'll find out because he's young and he's going to get a good taste against these top mid laners and did serviceable. And I think that's why I went with him second. Like Wolf and I both had him, had the Shiwu votes a little different. Yeah, we both had him second. And I think with Shiwu...
Oh, you had him third.
He had Calix second.
No, Wolf went Shiwu Calix Diablo.
Yeah.
You have Shiu
Wow.
third.
Yes. I have,
Oh yeah, Calix second.
Yeah,
Wolf
Actually,
really fought
you know
the
what?
recency
I'm
bias.
looking at this. I never do this, but I think that this is some of the dumbest drama because if I'm actually looking at these votes, we're talking about 5 votes.
Yep.
No, I remember, I can't remember the exact numbers, but someone posted the count for scores. I'm pretty sure even if all of us had gone, like so one of them is Prince actually put she was second over Calix. It wasn't just
And-
the
and
global
so-
people, and it wasn't all the global people.
No.
And I'm pretty sure if we did flip our votes,
We're
Diablo
talking
still
about
would have won.
No, because we're talking about 5 votes because we did went for Calix first. Wolf went for Calix second, and Dgon went Calix over Shiu. So this is actually like I don't often say this, but I think that this is just genuinely we're looking for people to dunk on. It doesn't actually make any sense.
I appreciate that. I was looking for the drama. They found it.
No, like I'm
They
looking.
invented it.
No, I'm looking at like
It's beautiful.
Dandy put him first, right?
No, it's actually wait.
Dandy's my goat. He's the guy that
Put
also
Shi-
did
put
the
Shiu
weird-
first.
No,
everything.
Mao. It's because it's talking specifically about
He
global
had to 'cause he
people.
couldn't vote for Viper.
It is me, you,
Yes, it's 5
Brendan.
people.
No, because you're including Prince.
No. It's. Oh yeah, because oh my
So
god,
if we're
it's 4
talking global
votes.
people, it's 4 people. I believe first is 5 points, second is 3 points, third is 1 point. So it's literally an 8-point difference. And I'm pretty sure the difference between first and second was like 26 or something.
It's also this is one of the few seasons where I think you can actually, depending on your criteria, make a cool case for every one of these players.
Yep.
In first.
Yeah, that's why I keep going back to the construct. It's just
Yeah.
how you view.
Yeah,
the
I
second
think
half
this
of
is
the season.
dumb.
Do you want to see the
I-
coolest thing though? Having a look at this, Ryu voted
No one.
no one in first.
Oh
And then Shiu Calix.
No, I saw this.
So good.
This got pointed out so specifically.
It's so based.
Because if you look at Nongshim, right,
Yeah.
Shelly and the Hens, they filled in theirs, but you can't vote for your own player. So they put Shiru, Diablo, blank.
Yeah.
But then specifically Ryu put blank Shiru
Yeah,
Calix.
yeah.
So he left the first slot blank
Yeah.
for Diablo.
He's
Exactly.
vote maxing.
Which is,
Yeah,
if
it's actually so
people were
based.
talking about manipulation, that was cheeky. That
Yeah.
was a cheeky move that he got through.
kinda
Honestly,
based.
but like actually true though.
Representing his player. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
so,
mean, I think it probably still gets the same points because he put 2 players. They just put them first and second.
I
But
don't know, man.
I don't know whether the order is.
but yeah, I think
necessary.
the point that we are establishing with this is that this drama is very manufactured, and even
Yeah,
if that changed, it wouldn't have made a difference. And also, there's plenty of other people. Prince was an example. Also,
Dandy.
yeah, Dandy also had a similar thing, and I think people are just very quick to blame the other side and say, "Oh, it's Global's fault," or sometimes I've seen Global fans say, "Oh, it's the Korean
Teddy.
side's fault."
But also, like, if you're not complaining, what do you
No, but
get
like-
to do when you sit down at the computer when
No,
you're
but like
upset?
I thought
That's true.
I thought when it's
Look at
because
other
I
people complaining.
I talked to some of the fans as well, right?
True, but then you have to be the good person to give them something to.
When I
look
saw
at.
the things about the MVP votes, I think that makes sense because if you use different criteria, right, you should. And also, I'm happy to talk about. I think we all are enjoy talking about the votes. Everything up to this point, I thought was valid and like worth addressing. This, throw it out, Judge.
Yeah, that one ain't it.
Inadmissible.
Yeah, this case being thrown out.
Boom.
Scrapped.
Yeah.
I've forgotten what it even was. It was Rookie of the Split. Okay, I remembered. We're right there.
Okay.
Is that the end? Are we off the hook from that point? I do kind of feel like
I believe
know.
someone needs to take this off me.
no. I think you can keep it.
What for?
I think Judge Harrison deserves
I
his
think I
spatula.
need a.
Oh, you're gonna.
He needs a break from power.
No,
No, you're gonna.
Do you need? I think you might need to. Okay, now hand it
We have
over
one
to me.
final because
I'm gonna be honorary judge.
I think you do better with power, as in you do worse, which is funnier.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. I was gonna say like that's the dumbest thing to say. Now, and this is unprecedented because a judge should theoretically.
Are we following the sheet? I'm kidding. Veldis isn't here.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We now
Sorry,
have
Veldis, I love you.
another thing to talk about, and we require the Honorable Judge Harrison to enter the stand.
Take the stand.
Take the stand.
I
He can
didn't-
enter it as
I
well.
did.
if
I
he
didn't
wants
do
to.
this, by the way.
You didn't have to. It's fine. We're still just going to be sitting in the same spot.
Also, it's call X2 to stand.
I don't know whether it is actually on the sheet anywhere.
No.
But we do. Can't remember which one it was. I'm sorry, I only just became a judge, getting used to the position.
So funny.
It's a new one for me.
Imagine going to court and like your whole life depends.
I used to be a bailiff.
I
I
can
don't know
imagine
why they
this.
promoted me.
I used to be a garbage man, and now I'm a judge.
No, you were a bailiff. Don't move away from the lore.
What?
You were a bailiff.
But my dream was to be a garbage man, so let me live my dream.
Hey,
okay?
they're very important for society.
Absolutely.
Or
yeah,
a bus.
I
a great
I wanna
dream.
be
I don't want
relied
garbage
on.
man to be the punchline to the joke. I think
And
he,
I like being able to say that I have a thankless job. It helps me feel humble when my ego is out of control.
actually very important. So yeah, sure.
got to stay grounded. All
Not
right.
to be woke, but
Was it part of the All Pro or was it the MVP? It was the MVP, right?
Is the MVP.
MVP. Okay.
can you do the drama voice?
Daniel Harrison.
Oh no.
Sounds like One Night Werewolf.
We have called you to the stand on this day
Oh my god!
to
with the
answer
clusters?
for your crimes in the MVP voting. I don't have evidence with me right now for the damage that it has caused, but I do remember being told from the Honorable Kion, who has it on good authority, that people were quite miffed.
Miffed.
Okay? And allow me to now talk about it. Your MVP votes this season may have cost Chovy not unanimous, which mine would have also. You voted Duro first place MVP, BDD second place, and Owner in third place. Why Duro in first? First, I do want to say, in my official capacity, based.
Also, you voted Keen, so he's
did.
also
Thank
making the
you.
case for you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you.
He's better on the stand
And
than I am.
Wadid is the only other MVP voter to Duro in the second team
Yeah.
position. No
Because,
one else voted Duro anywhere else.
Wadid gets it. So I've
Support
seen a lot of
bias.
comments about this. Some people have called me a supporter lover. Has been some of the Korean comments that have come out about me because obviously my previous votes were Pleta and now this.
Now this.
Yep.
Why don't they say that about me for my barrel comment?
We didn't vote Barrel, Max. We did.
I know, but I did say it, and they thought that that was real, and that was funny.
So I kind of want to get into. We've talked a lot about thought process behind MVP. Miles obviously talked about how he thinks just. We see a lot of the MVP votes. If you go down the list, a lot of people just go like the 3 players from Gen G. It kind of feels a little bit like the universal All-Pro. Like you have your All-Pro for each role, and then it's like, what is your All-Pro if it wasn't role-specific? And a lot of people will go like Chovy, Ruler, Keen, for example.
That one's the most common. Yeah.
That's very common. To me, I feel like that's not MVP. For me, I always think about, kind of similar to what Miles said, like which player has really been a standout for a team, which player really made a big impact, which player was really like, was a defining force for that team. And I also think that putting 3 players from the same team in my top 3 for MVP just doesn't make sense.
I think that's actually really interesting because it was only Dgon and Wadid out of the global team that put multiple players on the same team in their MVP vote.
Yeah.
Whereas you look like everywhere else, it's like different orders of Chovy Ruler Keen or Chovy Canyon Keen.
That's some carrier.
Ruler.
Just a little bit of Doran.
Yeah, a smattering. But otherwise, it was pretty overwhelmingly like keep it individual. And I think that like as soon as you put another person from the same team, you're devaluing the MVP vote because they're obviously less valuable if there's another very valuable player on the team.
Yeah, I think it would be weird to me for my metrics. And again, I'm not saying like I disagree. By the metrics these other people are voting by, in their metrics is perfectly valid, right?
Yeah.
But for my metrics, it doesn't make sense for me to do like a Chovy, Canyon Keen or something.
Well, Duro would have been first.
Like
Yeah.
if MVP like, and I think MVP stands for different things because in Korean, obviously like most valuable player is still English, right?
Yeah.
MVP is just like an acronym that
Yep.
is a title for what represents most of the time the
best
best, right?
Yep.
But for us, we read it and we're like, who is the most valuable?
Yeah.
And
we don't go off the salary, otherwise, it'd be like fake Chovy's ace.
yeah. Well, actually, it'd be faker. Forget it.
It would be Faker 2025, Faker 2026, Faker 2027, Faker 2028.
Let's stay focused. The real question here is why Duro Because I feel like we're kind of retreading.
And
what
not
we
keen.
talked
We
about.
talked about beating Donut. So for me, talking about Gen G as a whole and comparing to the other players, I feel like the main one is probably Duro against Chovy, because obviously Chovy is, in a lot of people's minds, the MVP. I think Chovy did obviously have a very strong round 1 and 2, but I feel like round 3 and 5 was kind of mentioned earlier by Max. I feel like the impact he had in the game wasn't as high as we've seen from Chovy earlier in the year or in earlier years. And
I think also, just to add on to that, I think that Chovy wasn't required to be that guy.
100%.
Like, they just didn't need him to do it. He did his role. He did it fantastically. He is a brilliant player, deserves like
Undisputed
all-pro
best
first.
in his role.
Undisputed best almost in the world, I think. It's like, I mean, I'm sure there'll be people that dispute, but they're probably wrong.
it's like when you vote POM. If I vote POM for one player, that doesn't mean I think another player is bad or played bad. It just means I think this player had more impact, and it could be that this player didn't need to have that impact.
Yeah.
And it wasn't required of them to win. They could have done everything perfectly. It's just maybe they were playing a champion or they played a role within the team where that wasn't required. And I feel like that's kind of the role Chovy had during round 3 to 5, where he was playing champions in a role within the team where his impact wasn't as much as, particularly compared to last year, where I feel like there were so many games and so many plays and so many times where the game just warped around him and he was defining games. No one else could do what he could do. He was really just grabbing the game and saying, I am the most important player in the world right now and I'm unstoppable. And maybe part of it, and I'll say there's always going to be bias at play when it comes to these votes, but maybe part of it is that Chovy has set a massive standard and I'm comparing him to his standard he set last year. But I just felt, for me, Chovy wasn't as impressive as he was last summer.
There's also the meta. Last summer he was picking Draven. This summer he's playing like
Galio,
Galio, Orianna, which outside of like there are obviously big moments you can have on those players, but it's very different to watch Chovy be up 20 CS 10 minutes in on Draven and like having 2 kills and then just ending the game than him being Annie and like flash chibbersing someone.
Yeah, and even like round 1 and 2 was obviously very impressive when he got a lot of his POM points. But I think for me, like, I've talked a lot about how impactful I feel like support has been recently. I feel like how, we talked even earlier today on the show about how I think support impact, reading the map correctly, has been super impactful. How when Carrier was in his best form, that was when T1 overstepped compared to Gen G. I feel like, I know it's been kind of memed to death a bit, the justice for supports thing, but I genuinely felt like support impact was being understated in how they were dictating games. And so that's why I felt like when I was watching Duro, and it's something I spoke to Wood did a lot about when we were in the desk together, is Duro's map reads were just insanely good. And there were so often times he was in the right place at the right time. It felt like he was doing so much work, not just his job, but like Canyon's job too. There were so many games where he was just everywhere he needed to be in the map. The game would start, Duro's bot, he's top, he's mid, he's getting people ahead. Genji walking in the mid game with a sizable gold lead, and then it's just they have to coast from there. And then again, I'm not saying his teammates, when you have Genji teammates, when you have Ruler and Chovy and Keen as carries, you give them a gold lead, they win the game. And you can rely on them every single time. So yes, Duro's job, once he gets that gold lead, he lands the engages, it's very straightforward with them, but it's like that, for me personally, I think finding advantages from a neutral state is a lot more impressive than winning a game when you're like 5,000 gold ahead.
Which is what Ruler did a lot. There's also the fact that the team trusted him consistently with counterpick as support, which there's only one other team that does that consistently, which has the support with the highest peak probably ever in the form of Carrier. Also, again, I don't know why I keep getting Morgan voted Dorn for MVP.
God,
based.
man.
But yeah, so
I just wanted to bring it up.
So for me, like, I was obviously losing my mind a bit that like he wasn't getting appreciated more in the POMs. I've said so much about that. Like a lot of people as well, if you're following POMs and you view like POMs as a reflection of how MVP should go, we've talked about how like we don't necessarily agree with that, but I also think that like the POMs weren't always a reflection of how I personally felt about the game. You got to remember that it's like a panel of 14 people. Not everyone's working on every day.
And also, like,
people
that's
have
the whole
different opinions.
point.
Yeah.
The point is to work out on average, based on everyone's opinion, who is going to get the most votes. And I don't think that, like, if you're trying to argue that someone's an idiot because they don't have your opinion, then think about ever doing that again because that's
Well, I mean,
that's why. Well, I mean, this is actually really interesting because I was on a
I
bit
saw
of a
your brain
vortex.
braining, yeah.
I was a bit of a vortex, and I watched a lot of. And this is actually really worth doing. There's a speech I listen to every year. It's by Tim Minchin. He does it at like an Adelaide university. He just talks about life. He does there's a few other speeches, and one of the ones that he talks about is how social media and the internet has caused so much division when it doesn't need to. Because we are, as a species, very tribal, and what we do is we find like-minded people and we stay together. What we're starting to do now is finding like-minded people, then finding things that you don't have in common and kicking them out of your life, and continuing to do that until you're alone. And everyone's in tiny little bubbles, and they all disagree with each other, and that's why the internet's a horrible place. And so we should try to instead incorporate people's opinions and respect one another's differences, and then try to live with
For what it's
empathy.
worth, all the discussions I had were fun. People were like, I disagree, but that's okay. And
Yeah.
I was like, and that was fun.
I
So
guess-
shout out to all the people I
I
argued
was
with on
hurt
Twitter.
by people thinking
Yeah.
that even considering Beryl was an affront.
I think
Yeah.
really when we get to the core of it, Max is just sad people didn't like his barrel joke, which was by all accounts pretty funny.
It
There
was
were-
pretty funny.
I was already hurt though because there was that one guy that just said, and you might need to bleep it, sorry, but he just said "F***ing idiot." I didn't know whether he got the joke or not.
No, maybe he was talking about the people who didn't vote for Beryl.
Yeah. My bad.
Yeah. My
It's
bad
me,
too, because I also
The
did.
bailiff.
Yeah.
Barrel's gonna be home tonight. Celebrate. No,
But anyway,
I don't think
I-
Barrel cares.
The only thing is just watch the Tim Minchin speech because it's great.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to say to your point, and I voted Chovy and Keen 1 and 2 with BDD third. I thought of it as if I needed to build a franchise right now, not considering age, with their performances this year, where is the value? And we've talked about counterpick to Duro.
Ooh, like a
Right?
fantasy angle. I kind of love that. That's kind of cool.
Because we, as you said, we see the word value and what is valuable to us. The counterpick angle's there. How do we even get to the counterpick angle? It's because you have the mid laner that can play anything proficiently well and allow the counterpick to happen and be meta proficient, regardless what the meta was. My second point, which is the heavy hitter, only one other person agreed with my same exact votes, which was Chovy, Keen, and BDD. Mm-hmm. And it's the GOAT. Faker and I were the same. I rest my case.
Honestly, fair enough. You're going to copy homework, that'd be the one to copy off.
So what you're saying
welcome
is,
for
so what
copying
you're
my
saying is,
Wait, guys, did Faker put Raptor third?
so Dgon.
Don't look at that one.
So what you're saying is Morgan is wrong. When you want to look into the camera and say that,
Yeah, the goat or the Lord, make your choice.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't want to do
yeah, this is how I feel every single day.
Yeah, that's right, because he's trying to lead too many fan clubs. Yeah,
You can have multiple fan clubs. It's fine.
yeah, but not
There's
if
not that
not if
many.
Dan already has
There's not-
one.
Yeah.
Why would you take that away from him?
Oh,
God.
no.
Honestly, he has a good point because we've been here for a while.
Yeah.
But
You
I
were
feel like-
there in 2022 when you were like, "Hey, Mao, you're coming outside. We're at the beach," and I was like, "No, I have to co-stream."
I feel like I've made my case.
I mean, I was
I've
pretty
rested my
inebriated.
case on the Duro thing. I'm glad I could get that out. I hope everyone sees the light in the justice for support. You know, they recognize Duro for what he
Okay,
did.
it doesn't need to be. You don't need to have a.
What happens to him if
I
they find
do.
him guilty? Right? I
He has
lose
to-
my
no,
vote.
I
he
actually
loses
knows.
his job.
I actually knows what the best thing is for Aux. He has to admit that he's wrong. He has to make a tweet
Oh my god!
and admit that he's never.
I would never do that. You can fire me first.
Oh my god! And we have to update his Namu wiki with the fact that he was wrong and have it there forever.
You guys can
I know how to do that.
You can
Yeah.
lock me in a straitjacket. You can put me in one of those white rooms. And you're like, we'll let you out as soon as you admit you're wrong. I'll just like frothing
He'll
at the
just
mouth.
die.
Like, no.
Actually,
I think that's a good one. to
Not on
end
this, okay?
Yeah. Honestly,
Not on this.
So if all of you agree collectively,
I actually think I respect it, and I actually think that it's his genuine opinion, and you can't be wrong because an opinion is just an opinion.
Shout out Duro.
Yep.
Shout out
It's
Baker.
kind of it's kind of a moot point, isn't it? Because
mean-
all you have to prove is that that's what you believe.
Well,
And Dan, I think, proved that that's what he believed in.
Yeah, see,
he set his criteria, and I think based on his criteria,
can we
he's correct.
Okay, can we
See-
end on that and cut before Dan is gonna roast me?
Why? What are you doing?
Because he's
See-
gonna roast me because I had a great punishment and now he wants to get back.
See,
It's imminent.
Mao doesn't really understand this because he doesn't stick to his beliefs, as he didn't put Lucid third in his All Pro.
Told you.
It's like we were holding the rubber band back for like a really long time.
Good job, we did.
Yep. We also need to come up with a punishment for we did, but we will do that at a later stage.
Well, the crowd can do that as well.
Yeah,
I
you
thought
guys,
it
if
was
you got any suggestions
Star
on how
Guardian
to...
we did.
Yeah, Star Guardian Wood did's pretty good, but if you have a better idea,
Yeah,
than that,
better
let
idea.
us know.
Sorry, I probably should have remembered.
Who's gonna
Star
bang the
Guardian
gavel
did.
to end the show?
All right. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you get down in there whether you agree with the Star Guardian we did. If you think that we're absolute morons for our opinion, try to be kind. And I love you. See you next episode of the Pog State. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Booyah!